I know we're going to work our ass off, but I know even if, of course, the market has changed or everything, but we're going to push to close at least 100 million. That's my goal.
100 million next year.
Yeah. Whatever that looks like, either we sell higher price point houses or, more volume, whatever that looks like. But I know we'll make it happen.
Hey guys, welcome back to Driven Channel, and I'm here back with Monse. So I'm very excited because Monse, you're not only one of the top girls in the company, top agents in general. You're definitely one of my favorites. You're very smart. You're very young, and you are also very private. So like for most of the people that I do a podcast with, I know a lot of stuff about them. I think I know a lot because we've had private conversations, me, you, Syl, but I don't know. I couldn't get anything more. So this one, we're going to go very deep, and this is going to be very, very good, very informative, and very inspiring for everybody watching this. So I'm very excited to just get all of the private stuff out of you. So thank you, Monse. Thank you for being
here. Thank you so much, Albert, for having me.
And let's start with this. Can you start by just telling people who is Monse? Where did Monse come from? How did you grow up? How was your childhood before you got into real estate? And then we'll jump into real estate.
Okay. Yeah. So I grew up in Culver City. I grew up with my mom and then my brother and then my aunt. My mom was a single mom. I met my dad when I was 19 years old. So I didn't have my dad in my life. I never thought he's probably going to see this, but in my whole life, I never thought that I actually needed him. So, in a way, it made me feel like I was always in a way, like a fighter. I feel like I don't need anyone, but I know it could be a good thing or bad thing. But, I feel like I did have a hard childhood. Not a lot of people know. This is actually my first time ever sharing it. Yeah, so I'll talk about my mom.
Yeah, well, we're gonna go deep in this. So, tell me about your dad. Like your dad, when you're 6, you don't see your dad anymore, and then you see your dad again when you're 19. Like, how was at 6? Do you remember? Because Italia, my daughter, she's 6, so that's like if I leave Italia right now, and then she doesn't see me till she's 19.
Yeah.
So okay, like I was just thinking about that right now because she's 5 and 10 months. She's gonna be 6. So do you remember when you were 6? Do you remember the last time you saw him?
Yeah, I remember. It was at a fair, and then I saw him for a little bit, and then I remember I wanted him to stay longer, and I didn't understand why he had to leave, but I guess he had his other family. And then when I saw him again, I was 19. And of course, I had mixed emotions. I'm like, I don't know if I should feel happy or mad, or inspired because he was so successful. But yeah, it was a mix of emotions.
How successful was he? What does he do now, or what did he do back then when you were 19? What did he have a business?
He's actually a realtor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was a very successful realtor. I think he just invests now. I don't think he really practices anymore, but he was known back in his time.
Yeah. So when you were you close to him when you were 6? Were you close to him your childhood? Were you very close to him, or were you a little bit close?
No, not close at all.
Close?
I think maybe his sisters, they try to put bring me around and buy me stuff. Yeah, but no, I was never close to him.
Okay, so your mom, how was it with your mom? I know your mom had you had a relationship with your mom that was a little bit different, and now you talked to your mom now, but you didn't talk to her for a while. Can you explain how it was growing up with your mom and how the relationship was?
Yeah, so I grew up with my mom until I was 15. Of course, she was my whole world, right? Because she was my mom and dad. Then unfortunately, she started dating someone. Of course, that was toxic, up to a point, it was domestic violence and everything. So of course I had a little brother, and then I didn't want him to see that, you know, in a way too. Like I had a hard childhood too. I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want him to relive this. Mm-hmm. So I took over custody with him, with my aunt.
And your brother, what's his name and how old is he right now?
His name is Daniel, and then he's 17 now.
17. Yeah. And your aunt, you and your aunt took custody of him and now till today still, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How's your relationship with your aunt, and what does she mean to you?
To me, like, she means the world to me. I feel like she's my drive and motivation. I feel like all those hard times when, like, in real estate or even in my whole life, she was always been there. Even when I received, like, my first $27,000 check, yeah, like, she was like, I want you to be the first one to open it for me because it meant so much.
Martin. And so now when you like right now with your aunt, you still have a really close relationship, because I know you had she's very special to you, right? She's like in a way like a mom to you.
Yeah, she's like a mom to me.
Can you explain how that became?
Well, I feel like I see her as my mom too, of course, because I had a really close relationship with her when I was really young. But, when we took over custody over my brother with her, we were basically doing everything together. Of mm-hmm. course, my mom, like I said, she was in that domestic violence situation. So, I mean, she got out of it probably 3 years ago. So I barely rekindled a relationship with my mom. What effect did it have in you seeing the domestic violence? Like, did it affect you in any way when you were little? Like, seeing that, it just made me like, okay, I don't want to be like that. No one's gonna ever tell me what to fucking do, like a man, what to do, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah. Do you feel that made you like stronger and like a stronger woman? Because you have I don't know if you think this way or if you realize it, but you're a really strong woman. Like, you have a strong personality. You're very quiet, but in the way that you know what you want. You have a high expectations. You don't like messing around with time, with people. You're demanding. Like, you have high expectations. Yeah. And you're very professional. So when times get hard, you're built or you made yourself built for those times. I feel like that had something to do with it. Do you think that kind of strengthened your mindset? Yeah, I think because I've always been like in hard times, so I know how to actually perform through hard times. So I think that's helped me in my business too. Yeah. So when you get into real estate, why do you get into real estate, and what were you doing before you got into real estate? So I got in real estate, like I mentioned, because I had custody of my brother, so I wanted to make more money. And then, like I told you, I had seen my dad, the lifestyle that he had, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should try this. Maybe I can make more money and change our future, right? Because at that point, it's me and my brother and then my aunt. So I'm like, okay, I'm the one that has control to change their future. So that's why I started getting in real estate. And then, of course, once I started doing it, I fell in love with it and I became very passionate about it. And when you decide, I want to get into real estate, I'm going to get into real estate, are you working currently on a part-time job? Are you doing something else at the same time as you're getting into real estate? Yeah, I did have a part-time job. I worked at an insurance agency. So it was like hourly and commission based, of course. And then I wanted to get in real estate. So my classes would start from like 7 to 10. So I would tell the owner, hey, like, Mr. Muhammad, please let me leave a little bit earlier so I could go to my real estate classes. And I would tell him like, oh, please, I'm going through this. Or I would tell my professors, look, I'm going to show up late because, I have the situation at home and I'm just trying to better myself. So I'm very thankful for those people. So your classes were 7 to 10 in the morning? Yeah. No, in the evening. Night. Oh, yeah. So you got out at 10? Yeah. Uh-huh. And you wanted to get out early to go to another class after that? No, so I would work. So my job was from 9 a.m. to 7. And then the real estate class started from 7 till 10. So I would tell the professor, look, I get off from work at 7, but like, I'm going to keep coming late, but it's not because I want to be late. It's just a situation what I'm in. So I told them, well, I'm telling you, I'm very thankful that they gave me that opportunity. Yeah. Yeah. Because I had a similar experience where I used to be a teacher assistant.
And I used to work from 8 in the morning till 2:30 in Toluca Lake Elementary in North Hollywood, like close to Burbank. And then from there, I would go and I would go assist a realtor. I was a realtor assistant. And then from there, I would go and take my real estate classes for pre-licensing to get my license.
That's a lot.
And then I had a girlfriend back then that had a brother that owned a mortgage company. So that's how I got into it. Same age, 19. And then I started as a realtor because I was a realtor assistant. I used to put up all the signs for the realtor. And then finally, when I become licensed, I get into real estate and I try it. However, like I didn't like real estate because I didn't like putting up the signs, getting all sweaty, being in the sun and showing homes. So somebody told me you could be a loan officer and then you just kind of wait for business and realtors send you business. And then I said, well, and I could work with a lot of realtors and then I could also do refinance. So I decided, you know what? I'm also going to do, I'm just going to stick to being a loan officer. So that's when I decided to do that at 19, but I had a lot of other jobs. And then the teacher assistant job, I just decided to leave that job because I was tired of, I used to get paid $9 an hour and I used to grade simple math, spelling. God. So I didn't like that. And I said, because I always wanted to I had a big dream and a big vision and I wanted to do something big with my life. Real estate, you said you got into real estate because you had like a big dream. You wanted to do something big with your life. How was it when you got into real estate initially? Did you start in real estate and were you like just like closing deal after deal, making a lot of money? Or how was it the first, let's say the first year in real estate?
Oh my God.
Because I know a lot of people are watching this and they're new. Maybe they're just getting started. Maybe they're not getting results in the first month or 6 months that they want. But especially because right now the market is it has changed. So people that are getting into real estate right now, they're like, damn, what's going on? It's hard. How was it with you when you started in real estate?
Well, when I started, it was like, I always say, I'm good at selling, but I'm not like, I didn't know I feel like I didn't have like people skills or I didn't know what to do. Like, you know, when you have that drive that you want to do something, but you're like, okay, I have the drive, but if you have that drive, but you don't know how to perform it and how to, you know, put it in place, it's going to go nowhere, right? So for me, it's like I had clients and I didn't even know how to do a damn contract. Literally, it took me like 1 hour. Like literally, I was crying, like figuring out how to do an RPA and then like going on the car forms. And then supposedly I had a mentor from Keller Williams. And I told the lady, I'm like, hey, can you help me fill out the contract? She's like, oh, honey, I'm not even licensed here. I'm from Texas. I'm like, then why are you my mentor? So it was very tough. Like, I think my first year, it's even embarrassing, but whatever, I'm going to tell you guys. I closed, I think, 1 deal my first year. And I got him from open houses. And then I told this, like, I hope the investor's not looking, but I told at this podcast, but I told the investor, hey, buy this property, you know, do this, do that, and then I'll list it for you. Thankfully, it sold, and he listened to me, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
So when did you really start crying when you were?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, you think that I'm hard, but I'm a really big crybaby. No one knows.
You know, Syl, that happened to her too. Like she started crying, same thing, because she worked under an agent, and the agent wouldn't help her.
Yeah.
Her first commission was she sold a house for I think $600,000. It was one of those duplexes in South LA. Like back in the day. I'm talking about 2010, around there, 2010, and maybe it was 500 or maybe even a little less than that, but it was around there. So the commission was 15,000 ish. And then they got a 10,000 bonus. So the check was like 25 grand. She got paid $1,300, something like that. And the rest went to her.
And then she did all the work?
She did all the work and she figured it out. And she starts crying at one point because she doesn't know how to write the contract either. It's a contract story.
Yeah.
Ask her about it. So like, what I like to do is kind of compare successful people and they do the same things. Like most people nowadays, they become entitled where they expect everything easy, free, and given to them. But the greats, they had to figure everything out. So I think from a childhood, that explains why you are the woman you are now, because you went through a hard childhood. Then you get into real estate and it's hard. Nobody's helping you, but you figure things out. Why do you think you are built like that, where you just figure things out? And even though you closed one deal your first year, what kept you going? Did you ever feel like quitting?
Yeah, I would cry. I would literally cry, and then I would be like, oh, fuck, this is not for me. But I would do like open houses. And then I would like tell an agent from the office, I'm like, hey, can I host an open house for you? He's like, yeah, you have to use my signs. I remember I was in Westwood. And he's like, but you have to use my signs, that you need to do the open house like this. And at the end, there was like a good lead. And then he was like, oh, yeah, they didn't need help. And then I followed up. And of course, he converted it.
So when you felt like quitting, what kept you not quitting?
Well, of course, like my brother and then my aunt. And then like I was just like, okay, like my life is basically shit. What's the worst that could happen? Like, you know, that's I kept going and
like
going.
how much money did you have saved back then?
Oh my God.
Your first year in real estate.
$2,000.
So you kind of recycled the 2,000?
Yeah.
It went up, it went down?
Yeah.
What was the lowest money you remember going down to when you were in those times?
$500.
That was the lowest? What are you thinking when you're at $500?
Like I was like,
were you thinking about your brother and your aunt?
Yeah, I felt like a failure, I'm like, oh, I'm doing everything wrong. I should probably find something else, go back to work, go back to my insurance job, get more hours, or like just do like babysitting or something, or figure it out, go back to school.
And guys, I'm not gonna say a number for respect to Monse, and unless she wants to ever say it, not here, but she has a good amount of money in the bank right now. I'm not gonna say how much, but it's not a little bit. And not only that, she's been second place for Ambiance at least the last 2 years that I can remember right now off my head. And you've been very consistent, and you're growing. Like, even though right now the market changed, you're still like improving, and now you're building a team. So it's a completely different Monse than it was before. So that shows you what can happen if you stick to it. And that was how many years ago when you've been in real estate? Is it 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years. So 5 years ago, like your first year, that's when you closed one deal.
One deal. And then the next year I closed like I think I made that deal. I think I made like $1,000 from a Bakersfield client. And at the end, he ended up going to another agent. And then, but I had the buyer's representation.
That was the first year. The deal.
Second year.
Oh, the second year.
Yeah.
So the second year, how many deals did you close?
Probably like 2.
2.
Yeah. Embarrassing. In the third year, then I'm like, okay, let me do this full time. Let me figure it out. Then I would do more open houses. And then I started promoting myself on Facebook. I used to do like those, like on the phone, I used to be like, oh, what do you need to buy a house? Or what I would do, I'd do a post and tag everyone that I knew. And they'll be like, oh, Monse sells houses. And then that's how I would get people. But they didn't know I didn't know how to sell.
And that was 3 years ago. 2000. Wow. So like to be right before COVID.
No, I think honestly like 2.5 years in, not 3, not COVID.
Because COVID was 2020, right?
Yeah. So no, if I was doing 20, so I started real estate.
So 2019, was that the year that you
started making money?
Oh, the year before COVID was when you started. So that was year 3.
Yeah, year 3. But year 3, but I was working my ass off for years.
So I think a big lesson right here is like your first 2 years, you closed one deal the first year and 2 deals the second year.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Realistically.
And you're doing also, you have another job. So you're doing real estate really part-time both the first 2 years. So what happens the third year that you decide like, hey, I'm going to go into real estate full-time. I'm going to stop doing all the other stuff and I'm going to focus 100% on real estate. What made you make that decision?
Like I told you, like throughout the years, I was planting seeds. So like, of course I wasn't making money, but I was creating relationships. And what I did for my brother, he went to a charter school like in mid-city. So what I did, I'm like, okay, let me come up with a creative thing. So let me do a mid-city cleanup. long story short, one of the teachers was close to my brother, had a friend. And that friend wanted to buy a house in Venice, all cash. And then he bought a house for 1.6 and I made $27,000. And I'm like, okay, this is my sign. I'm going to stretch those 27 grand and do this full time. And then other than that, it was good.
So that relationship, can you talk a little bit more about that? That relationship you said came from your brother?
Yeah. For giving back from the community. But of course, I would do events or I would volunteer. And then I'm like, okay, let me do a mid-city cleanup. And I would tell the kids, okay, guys, and everyone in the community, we're going to pick up trash because we're going to help our environment. And then, of course, then I would tell them, okay, if you do this, then the school's going to give you credit. So then, of course, I was smart. All the teachers and the parents were going to sign up and put their information on there. So I got 200 numbers.
200 numbers. That's in one day?
Yeah. Because the event, the whole goal was like everyone has to sign in, right? The parent's name, the phone number, and then you have to put your child's name so they could get credit.
So when the first 2 years, when you're closing one deal in your first year, you decide I'm going to keep going for my brother. But then the second year, you close 2 deals, right?
Yeah.
So just backtracking a little bit. When you close 2 deals, which you probably spend more than that driving around and working. So you were probably like at a huge negative. I'm thinking.
Yeah, of course.
So 2 years in, don't you feel at one point like, hey, I'm just going to stop real estate. I'm going to quit and I'm going to get a job and make some money and to take care of my brother. You never thought about that?
No.
You never thought about quitting real estate then?
No, I never thought because of quitting because this is something that I liked. And I said, okay, if I'm passionate about this, I know eventually it will pay off. I don't know. I just didn't think like going back to job. I used to hate going to a 9 to 5. I think I had every job you could think of. I worked at Forever 21. I worked at a restaurant to like the cashier, shitty jobs.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with those jobs. And I'm saying I didn't want to do that,
Yeah.
And of course I have to take care of my brother. Like that's not even going to pay nothing.
Why do you think you don't like 9 to 5 jobs? Like,
there's nothing, guys. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5 jobs. But for me personally,
so let me just restructure the question because I don't want people to think that we're making fun of 9 to 5 jobs. I'm saying you seem like a person that doesn't like to be told what to do.
There you go. That's why I don't like being told what to do, and I would hate it. And I used to be like, okay, he's gonna tell me what to do. Like I would give my 2 weeks notice.
Yeah. So jumping into your third year. You get this referral from, you meet this person through your brother, and then you close this, you get a cash buyer. Like, how long did it take you to close it? Was it an easy deal?
It took...
Talk about the deal.
Yeah. So it took him like 6 months to find something in Venice, but then when we found something, I closed in 2 weeks. Yeah, so I made 27 grand in 2 weeks.
And this is the most you've ever made in your life at that point?
At that point, yeah. I literally cried when I got the check.
So it's 27 grand. How much did you get after
the broker? Yeah. So I was 27 grand after everything free.
Do you remember how much the whole check was?
I don't remember. Probably like 35. I think the broker took like 10.
Okay.
1,000. Yeah.
So when you get that check, what are you thinking at that moment? Yeah, I know you said you cried. What are you thinking in that moment? Are you thinking I made it? Are you thinking I'm gonna get an investment property? Are you thinking I'm gonna go on a vacation? What are you thinking at that moment?
I just told myself, okay, this is real. Okay, real estate, you could make money in real estate. I'm gonna go harder. Like I know I can make more money, and this is like I could, make the money that I want, of course, in a short period of time, right? If I keep selling and help my family. That's what I thought.
Who was the first person you told?
My aunt. I remember I got the check delivered to my house and I'm like, oh, open it. And then I was like, I want you to read the check. She's like, oh, dice 2,700. I'm like, no, mire todos los ceros que dice. And then, because she calls my name, of course, she calls me Moni. Like, so she's like, oh my God, Moni, no puedo creer. I'm like, yeah, son 27,000. And I remember we were crying.
You and her?
Yeah.
Why do they call you Moni?
Well, cause okay, I've always liked money since a little girl. So money, but of course she's Latina, so she doesn't know how to say money, so she says money.
I get it, money.
Yeah, you get it.
So okay, so now I know something new. Money, we're getting somewhere here. So so you speak Spanish. I heard you say something in Spanish.
Yeah, hablo español.
You speak like fluent Spanish?
Yeah, fluent Spanish.
Is your family like from Mexico?
No, my mom is from Honduras. My dad is Salvadorian and Cuban.
Okay. So Cuban, Salvadorian, and from Honduras.
Honduras, yeah.
Have you ever been to those countries?
Yeah, I have, to Honduras, yeah.
Okay. And do you have a lot of Hispanic clients, would you say?
Yeah, I would say most of my clients are Hispanic.
So you're so when you get that check and you cry, you and your aunt, I'm sure your brother was also happy. What happens after that? Do you, from there on, do you take off and every month from there you're closing deals, or does it still take a little longer to continue to like get better?
No, I started taking off like because I would let me see what would work for me. So I would do open houses. Keep in mind I didn't have clients, so I would do open houses like every weekend, and then I would post houses, like for example, oh, this beautiful house, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and then what I would do, I would tag everyone on Facebook. And then that's what people would be like, oh, I saw that you have this house. And then what I would do back in the day too, I would put them on Facebook Marketplace. And then that's a way to get free leads, right?
Yeah.
So then that's how I would get people. And then I didn't know a lot about loans or stuff like that, but I found a lender to help me.
And then, so that year you end up like how many deals do you close that year? That's your third year in the business full time.
I think like 15.
15.
Yeah. Made a difference.
And then from there on, you go into your fourth year, which was it the COVID year after that?
Yeah, COVID year.
So
right?
so what happens? What happens COVID? Like when COVID happens, do you remember like how did anything change?
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like I made more money, of course, because interest rates went down, right?
Yeah.
But then, of course, then I had a team. Then I had someone else to help, more people to help me. And of course, then I could help them too. And then that's how we both would generate more business.
Yeah, because Ambiance, you joined Ambiance
2019.
2019. So was that your
No, 2020. I was looking at the award. It said Rookie of the Year 2020 for Ambiance.
Guys, if you made it this far, I have an exclusive mastermind that I want you to join. Go to drivenacademy.com and subscribe to my exclusive mastermind where we're gonna meet in person every month at my workshop and you get more perks. All you gotta do is go to the link below and sign up. I'll see you there. So that was like right when you get good, that's when you join Ambiance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about that. Like when you joined, how did you join Ambiance? I'm curious. Like how did you join Ambiance? How did you know about Ambiance?
Okay, I think I've told you this story before, but so I used to always see Albert's ads in Facebook like way before I joined Ambiance.
Yeah.
And I thought you were like weird just because you were like the only Latino, the Ferrari. So it's like, oh, like he's showing off or stuff like that, But now that I know you, of course, you're very humble. You're very different, right? But like secretly his marketing, like believe it or not, like that was like way like years. Imagine secretly your marketing stayed in my head, right? So eventually, I think one time I saw an ad of Ambiance or someone told me about you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, let me try it out. Let me see. They look like, they're a fun company and I wanted something different. I saw that you guys all did like friendly competitions. I'm like, okay, this is going to help me take my business to another level.
Yeah.
So, and then of course your core values, I love them too.
So you thought I was like, you said weird or?
Not weird, but like, you know what I mean? Like weird just because like different, basically different because let's be honest, there was not a lot of Latinos that were successful with a Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
And then they would advertise real estate. I think you were the only one that would do that. That was 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. No one would have ads like that.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just it's good to know this. ads do work. So like if you're watching this, like if you're not putting out ads, like you even did it with Facebook, and you were saying that that's how you got some business from it. But moving forward, Monse, like that year, you do better, and then every year it seems like you're repeating the same story. Like you're getting better. Now you built a team. Can you talk about your team? Like how does it? What does it mean to you to have a team? And are you still building your team bigger? How is that working out?
Yeah, I mean, of course, my goal is to build my team bigger, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone on my team, I feel like they're very knowledgeable, and not only that, hard worker, and of course, as you always say, we all have beautiful girls on our team.
We'll talk about that. Like, does everybody have to be beautiful to be part of your team?
Not hey, it helps, but of course we sell houses, right? But we're actually very knowledgeable. It does help though.
Yeah. But you have your team is I love your team, and I think just the way you lead them, I think you're a very good leader. Like they respect you, and I think the way you lead is through example. And is that something that you are big on? Do you think you need to show them through example?
Yeah, I feel like I can't tell them to open deals if I'm not opening deals. Calling or doing all the things, prospecting. I prospect a lot every day. It doesn't mean only because you close a certain amount that you're not going to prospect anymore.
Do you think that you need to show production before in order to be a good team leader?
Yeah, of course. If you can't even manage yourself, how the hell are you going to manage a team?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And then you said you prospect a lot. Can you talk about like how is that? Like what is your typical day from Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday?
So, I mean, of course in the morning I go to the gym, but I do actually 2 rounds of prospect. So from 11 to 1, I'll do follow-ups. And then of course, if I don't catch them, I'll call them again too, like from 5 to 7. So it's not only me following up, I do it with lenders too. Like Oscar is one of my preferred lenders too. So it's like, of course, we have systems in place, so we use our time effectively. So it's like if I'll write notes, and then of course I don't have to text Oscar, he'll see it in the system. Like, okay, he needs to follow up.
Yeah.
And I'm able to hear his conversations too as well, of course, to be more effective.
Yeah, no, that's good. And lender wise, do you like maybe lenders are watching this? How important to you is it to have a lender that is great? And by great, it could be a lot of things, but are you demanding in the form of a lender? Do you expect them to be close to perfect? Like what do you expect from lenders? Just in case some of the lenders are watching this, because I know for a real estate agent, for a realtor, it's very important to have a quality lender, because there's a lot of lenders out there. And is that a big part of your success?
Of course, you need to have a quality lender. And one that follows up, that it's always, getting to know the new guidelines, the new programs. Like I shouldn't have to hear new programs from other lenders. If I'm working with you, you should know of course I have to be knowledgeable too, but different programs that could help for our clients. So yeah, of course you have to be efficient, knowledgeable. Like you don't have to have the most experience, but as long as like you're hungry, knowledgeable, and then you always want to follow up, I think you're a good lender.
Yeah. And this year, how do you see this year? Why do you think are maybe 2 of the main reasons why you are doing so good this year? Because let's face it, a lot of people are having quite a bit of struggle right now because prices went up so fast. Now some prices are going down. Rates went up like a lot, and now rates are still went up a little bit. They went down a little bit a few weeks ago or a week ago. But rates, you can't control what's going on with that, and you can't control what's going on with the market. But a lot of realtors are having a hard time right now with this market. What keeps you like thriving in this market?
Well, when I started real estate, the rates were like 4.5, 5.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, of course they're higher now, but I just feel like I always say, like, if you know how to sell, you could sell in any market. And it's just like becoming knowledgeable. Like, yes, like, you're not going to share the same information with the client what you used to talk about last year, right? So you have to, partner up with a lender, become knowledgeable, go to trainings. I don't know if, any realtors that are watching, like the company that you're with, do they offer value? Do they do trainings? Like our company, we're up to date with the new trends, the new markets, new programs, like the ones that you were sharing with us today.
Yeah. And if somebody's watching this and they're a realtor, maybe they just got a license, they fit your team aesthetics and you want and they want to reach out to you. They're like, hey, once, because I know it's a girl team. You wouldn't have well, I don't want to say never, but your team is a girl team. Is that the way you like it, or would you ever let like a guy in your team?
I mean, I feel like we have I don't know.
'Cause you're the real estate girls.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that name, the real estate girls? Why did you come up with the real estate girls?
Because I used to do a lot of open houses, and this lady used to be like, oh, you're that real estate girl. So I was like, oh, let me start using that to promote myself.
So if any real estate girl is watching this and they're interested in joining your team, are you taking new members right now? Can they reach out to you?
Yeah, they could. You could follow me on Instagram at Your Real Estate Girl.
What are like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 traits that you look in at a girl to have in order to fit your team's values, core values?
I would say, of course, you might not be as knowledgeable right now, of course, because you're new, but as long as you let yourself be, teachable, someone that's hungry, most important, consistent, because a lot of people want to do real estate and they're like, yeah, I want to do real estate. And then they're like 5 months in, oh shit, this is not what I thought.
Yeah.
Because this is not a hobby. I tell people
it's
that.
Not. And you work a lot more when you get into real estate. If you want to do good, I think one of the biggest tips that I'll give you, and you tell me what you think, Monse, but when you get into real estate, if you want to make like the income that you're making, like you got to work more than the 8 hours that a normal job works. So when you work from 9 to 5, real estate, I mean, you work way more than 9 to 5.
Oh yeah.
Like real estate, like
I work till like 9, 10.
What time do you wake up?
To 5:45.
So by the time you wake up, you're probably already thinking about your deals, real estate, clients.
Well, I
right?
look at emails. I know it's a bad habit. I shouldn't be looking at my phone, but I do it without even trying.
I mean, everybody has different ways of running their life, their business. There's people that are really successful, Monse, that wake up to their phone, and there's people that are really successful that wake up and wait 30 minutes, wait an hour. Like I've heard it all. I had this realtor that you probably heard at Driven. He said he doesn't look at his phone till 7:30. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I think so.
Santiago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He has a routine.
Yeah. So he doesn't look at his phone till like 7:30. So he wakes up, works out, does his morning routine, reads, and then 7:30, that's when he sees his phone. Ed Milet waits 30 minutes before seeing his phone. I wait about 30 minutes, more or less, before looking at my phone too, because I just don't want to react to my phone right away. But some people that are really successful, they wake up to their phone. So I don't think there's like the right way that's the only way. I think what works for different things work for different people. As long as you are disciplined and you follow your routine, I think that's very important, your routine. So if you're a realtor and you're watching this, you need to put in 14 hours of work every day, 16 hours, sometimes more, if you want to make the big money.
Right.
Like now, if you want to just work the same and be lazy, then you're probably going to make the same as you are if you would be working at a regular job. So I think real estate and any business that's self-employed, where you have to go out there and make sales to make money, you got to treat it as you're going to work at least double what you work if you work in a regular job. You work 40 hours a week, you're going to have to work about 80 hours a week if you want to make your dreams come true and if you want to reach those high levels of success. So I think you do that and you show that to your team. Now, if If somebody's watching this and they want to list their home, if they want to buy a house, what do you have to say to those people that are watching this and they're like, I want to buy a house, Monse, but I just don't know if I should buy now. Why not wait till the prices come down?
Yeah.
Why not wait till the rates come down? What do you tell buyers that say that?
Well, I mean, I always tell clients there's no bad time, to buy. It's just whenever you're financially ready. Like if the payment makes sense for you, then go for it. I always tell clients, like I think a client called me yesterday. He was like, I want to buy a house, but the payment's a little stretch. Of course, you have to listen to your clients, right, with their concerns. So I told him, hey, look, I understand that this is different because, you've been living with your family. Now it's going to be from $2,000 to $3,500. Yeah. It's a big difference, right? So I'm like, hey, like we have different programs, right? So like the program that we were talking about, the buy down, like there's different programs. Like, for example, your first time home buyer, like there's you could contact us and we'll give you more information. Like it's not like, we hear so many things on the news. Oh my God, rates are so high. But this is actually such a good time to buy. Like I literally got a client $34,000 in closing cost credit. That's a lot. Before, like maybe 1 year ago, 2 years, like the seller would be like, okay, buy. They wouldn't even pay attention to you. Yeah,
because you know what? I want to add this to it and I want to get your input on this. Last year, I say it a lot, but last year, because this is like something that just kind of is saved in my head. Last year, buyers were paying 80 grand above on listing price. And then sometimes the appraisal wouldn't even come in value and they would just pay the difference on top of that.
Yeah, the gap difference.
And yes, they would get a 3.5 rate. But now that same property is less and now people are not offering 80 grand above. Now people are offering maybe 20 grand less, maybe full purchase listing price, but now you're getting 30 grand in credits. You're getting X amount in credits. So in reality, if you do the math, you're getting a way better deal now because you can't refinance the purchase price, but you could refinance the rate. And on top of that, you could still get a good rate because right now we're talking about the 3-2-1 buy down, the 2-1 buy down. You could actually get something close to last year in rates. Mm-hmm. So like how do you feel about that? Don't you think that this year you could get a better deal than last year?
Yeah, I feel like you could just by the purchase price.
Like would you feel bad if you bought last year and you paid 80 grand above? And then let's say you put maybe you put 10% down.
Yeah.
So now let's say the price came down 10%.
It makes sense.
And
it went away. Yeah, all that money, 10%.
So people don't think about that.
Went down.
Yeah. People don't see that. So that's why it's very important to have somebody that's very knowledgeable, somebody that cares about you, like Monse here. And if somebody is selling the house too, like how do you feel about that? Because I know you get a lot of listings, and I know you also deal with the multi-million dollar listings. When did you get into that really quick before we wrap up? When did you get into the multi-million? Because you're one of the agents here that does a lot of multi-million. Are the multi-million dollar listings, are those the same as the under million listings? Are they a little different or the same? Or when and how did you get into the multi-million dollar listings?
Well, I started selling $1 million houses, like I told you, like that with the guy from Venice.
That was your first one.
Yeah, that was my first one. But yeah, I mean, I started selling more multi-million dollar houses, but a lot of people like want to get in the luxury market. And what people don't understand, it's like I got my high quality clients from someone that I sold them a house for $315,000 in Victorville. Why? Because I gave him the same exact service as I would give $1 million person that was buying a house with me. And then, I mean, of course, the multi-million dollar client, like they want you to be knowledgeable. They look at different things. What type of finish is this? Actually comparables. They're not going to write an offer just to write an offer. It has to make financially sense for them too as well. So, I mean, I mean, you could break in the market whenever you want, but I mean, your credibility won't be as high, right?
Yeah. Monse, tell me one story of a client you've helped recently that you feel really proud of.
Like what?
Maybe a client that you feel like you went out of your way and you helped out and you made it happen. Maybe a client that nobody gave the client hope, or maybe the client it was very hard for them to qualify or to find the house for their specific needs, and then you just went out there and you made it happen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was actually the client that he actually bought a house with me in Victorville for $315,000. He told me that he was in escrow with an agent for a year, and they told him, "Hey, you qualify," and everything. He was so excited, and at the end they told him no. And then I kept following up with him. It was like a year over. He's like, "You know why I gave you an opportunity? Because you kept following up, and I would always follow up."
Yeah.
And who knew that client, that client was gonna send me more high quality clients.
And then from that client, you said you got a multi-million dollar client.
Yeah, and different clients. Yeah. So
Monse, tell me a story about you that nobody knows.
Besides all the chisme that I gave you earlier.
Yeah, like something else that nobody knows about you. Something that you never shared with your team.
My personal life?
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Personal, whatever. Like,
I know where he's going.
I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. I'm just asking like a simple question, like something that nobody knows, because I think I would love for you to open up more, because I don't think people realize how good of a person you are, like the heart you have, like how much you care about people, because you are very I feel like you keep you have like a shell and you kind of keep it inside, but I know you at a personal level, so I know how to, like, you tell me and you share it with me and with Syl to a certain extent, but I don't think a lot of people know how nice of a person Monse is, like how much you care about people.
I think too much. People always think like I'm very like demanding or hard, but I'm actually like very sweet, and I think I care too much, or I give too much. I overthink a lot, which I'm working on. Yeah.
So what's the story you want to share?
Oh, okay. Since Albert wants me to share,
just anything you want to share.
Well, yeah. I mean, what do you want to know about my personal life? That
something that would be like, I don't know, like it could be a funny story, it could be a personal story, it could be maybe something that you like doing that you never told anybody. Or I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, that I'm married. That's what you want me to say?
No, I don't want you to say that. I didn't say.
Yeah, because I never share a lot. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I share. I mean, I know you said that a lot of people, like, for my team, but I feel like everyone on my team knows. And of course, like the people that I'm close with, like lenders, a lot of people do know. Of course, like. Sometimes
because you mentioned that one day you want to have kids, or you said maybe one day I'll have kids.
Yeah.
Do you want to have kids?
Yeah, I do. Not now though. Probably like in 2 years.
How many kids do you want to have?
Probably 2.
Why 2?
Because that's enough. At least you could give one to the husband, one, or hire a nanny, but more than 2 is too much.
Because I heard something from like two powerful people, right? One of them said, I don't want to have kids because what if I have a kid or 2 kids and then they're not what I expect them to be? And I know it's kind of harsh, but these 2 individuals are very powerful, right? So one said, I'm going to have such high expectations from my kid. And then the other individual says, well, you solve it by having a lot of kids. Like if you have 5, 6, 7 kids, then even if you get one kid that maybe is a rebel, gets into a lot of trouble, or maybe you have 2 that are not what you, or they don't reach their potential, whatever, then you have more kids. Yeah. Like for me, I want to have a lot of kids.
Oh, really?
So like I want to have maybe like 6, 7 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at least one could choose.
So it's, and I have 2 right now, a third on the way. So like that's why I'm telling you, like I have more experience than you with kids.
Of course.
So like why is it that you just want 2 kids?
I don't know. I think maybe because I don't know. Just maybe 2. I think 2 is enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to have more. Which that's my personal opinion.
Yeah. No, awesome. Well, I think you're gonna be a great mother, just like you are a great team leader, just like you are a great realtor, and like I'm excited for you. You're very mature for your age. You're very smart, and you definitely lead by example. So what can people expect from you for 2023? Let's go there. 2023. What's going to happen 2023? How are you going to close out this year? And also, and it's a couple questions here. How does it feel to be like at the top of Ambiance Realty? Like, how does it feel to be at the top? Do you like being number one, number two? I don't think you've ever been number three, maybe when you just started, but is it important for you to remain at the top? Do you want to be number one? Are you, because I know you're competitive. Like even right now you're looking at me like you want to hit me
I
or
am
something.
competitive. I am competitive. I love competing against guys. It's just, I don't know. When I'm like, I beat a guy, it's like, okay, yeah. See, girls are badass too.
Yeah, no, well, girls are much better than guys. So for 2023, like how do you see yourself finishing this year, like closing the year out? And what are your goals for 2023?
So my goals for 2023, of course, expanding my team, but of course, helping my team grow too, expanding them into leaders. And then of course, getting more mentorship from you too. But I want to, if I know we're going to work our ass off, but I know even if, of course, the market has changed or everything, but we're going to push to close at least 100 million. That's my goal.
100 million next year.
Yeah. Whatever that looks like, either we sell higher price point houses or, more volume, whatever that looks like. But I know we'll make it happen.
Well, I'm betting for you because I know you're going to make it happen. So I'm very excited, Monse, for next year. If people want to follow you and they want to reach out to you, what is your phone number and where can people follow you? What's your favorite one?
So my Instagram is Your Real Estate Girls, and then my phone number, this is actually my personal phone number. It's 310-913-6106.
We'll put it there, and also reach out to Monse. She is a total professional and badass of a woman. She really like Syl loves you. Like Syl talks about you all the time. She's like, Monse is like, she's a really powerful woman. So people that are around you, they're very lucky. Keep being yourself, by the way. Keep being yourself. Like I like that face. People say that I have a poker face. You have like the same face. Yeah. Like you don't really like, I don't know what you're thinking right now.
But I'm smiling. That means I'm happy. I'm enjoying my time.
So like that's very powerful, Monse. The way you carry yourself. Love it. Keep doing what you're doing. Like you're an inspiration to all the women out there. And I'm very happy, and me and Syl are very grateful to have a part of the company. So thank you
so much for having me. And then fun fact, guys, I actually manifested this. I've always wanted to have a podcast with Albert. So I'm very happy that you gave me the opportunity to do the podcast.
Hey, I'm very happy. Like I said, we're grateful to have you. It's an honor for us. Ambiance Realty wouldn't be there without you where it is today. And this is just the beginning. Mark my words, watch in 2 years, we're going to look back and we're going to be like, probably going to be flying private to Italy just to have brunch. And then we're going to be flying back to another country. You're going to bring your real estate girls with you. And this is just the beginning. So expect to see a lot of big things from Monse. And if you guys are watching this, you want to sell, you want to buy, reach out to her. She's awesome. She'll take care of you. And until next time, thank you.
Thank you.